Welcome to the Thrift Store Kitchen Review, where I test all the weird junk from the thrift store so you don't have to. Welcome to this episode of the Thrift Store Kitchen Review. A good sign that you're dealing with a gimmicky product is if it claims to take a process that really wasn't all that complicated or difficult to begin with and sell you a device that allegedly makes it easier. One process that there seems to be a disproportionate number of devices for is baking potatoes. Something that really only requires two things, a potato and a heat source. Well, I have one of those devices to show you today, and that would be the Potato Perfect, which is for some reason made by Mr. Coffee, and I found this at a Goodwill in Woodstock, Georgia for only $6.99. So let's take a look at the Potato Perfect. It has a hinged plastic lid, and inside you have these two swords that you put through your potato. It has a heating plate, and it has a plastic lid. Now, if you notice, this is not a very large tray, so the potatoes you're going to have to use are going to be kind of small. Also, this lid doesn't exactly stay on very well. I noticed this at the store. You have to line it up just perfectly. And another issue I found out later is it's actually missing a part. Let me get this thing in place. This hole right here, when I purchased it, I thought it was a steam vent, but that is not what it is. There is a temperature probe that's supposed to go in there and plug the hole and show you the temperature of your potato. And unfortunately, that did not come with it. But I plan to improvise. I think I have an idea that will work. So I'm going to get this cleaned up, and then we're going to make some potatoes. Okay, so it is potato time. So I actually did manage to find a manual for this online, and the first step is to take a 1/4 cup water and dump it into the dish. Now, the next thing is I want to mount the potatoes. I had referred to these as swords, but the manual refers to them as potato spears. So, try to get this on here without slicing my hands up. Yeah, these things are not exactly safe. Let me try that again. Let me go in from this side maybe. I've already torn this potato up. Ooh, not great. But does it mount? And does the machine close? That's the big question. All right, should be good enough. Now, hold on, because I did neglect to do one thing, and it did say to puncture the potatoes a few times with a fork so that the steam could escape. So let me do that, and let me pull this one back out of the machine. Should be good. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one back in. And then let me attempt this other one. Yeah, that's the problem with this. It's very hard to get it in at a good angle, and you don't want to mess up your hand in the process. But it should be good enough at this point. This thing is already a pain. All right, so the machine fully closes. Now the next thing I need to do, like I said, there was supposed to be a temperature probe that goes in that hole, and I don't have that, but I want to plug it so steam doesn't escape. So what I'm going to do is I have a little bit more water. I'm just going to take some paper towel and get it nice and wet, and use that to plug the hole. Now, I do have a meat thermometer that I will use in order to actually check the temperature of the potatoes. So now I plug it in, and then I let it heat and cook for about 20 to 30 minutes. From some research online, apparently the optimal temperature for a baked potato is around 205 Fahrenheit. So in about 20 minutes, we'll be back to see about what temperature the potatoes are at. All right, so we're 20 minutes in. It's time for the initial temperature check. Now I'm going to open this with a pot holder because there is a lot of steam. And let me go ahead and probe it. Right about 192, so let me see the smaller potato. And the one in the back's only at 180, so I'm going to leave these in here for 10 more minutes, and then we will check again. It did say 20 to 30 minutes, so this is normal. All right, time for the 30-minute check. So let's open the machine again. I'm always afraid that back is going to come right off as soon as I open it, but it didn't. Okay, that one is definitely done. And so is that. Probably needed closer to 5 minutes than 10. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug it and give these potatoes a couple minutes to cool, and then we're going to cut one open and taste it. All right, so they're still kind of hot, but let me go ahead and get one on a plate. Yeah, that's definitely done. The bottom, you can see, gets crispy, but the top really doesn't. I'm going to just close this and kind of push it to the side. But yeah, the potato breaks right open. So I got some butter right here. Go ahead and wipe this knife off, cut a little pat of butter, throw it in there. And everybody likes their own baked potato toppings. I actually like Parmesan cheese in mine, so I'm going to dump some of that on there. And a little bit of pepper. And then let me just kind of mash this all up. Take a bite. I mean, it does have a really good texture. The potato is done. So it does a good job making the potatoes. The only problem is these things. If they were made in a way that was easier to get them on the potato, it would actually be a somewhat decent machine. So anyway, we've seen that it does successfully make baked potatoes. Now we have one more test for it. All right, so I have the Potato Perfect set back up and ready to go. Now it's time to find out, will it glizz? Now we have kind of an obvious problem here. Open that slowly. These potato swords are going to be too big for a standard size hot dog, and we'll basically rip it apart. Now, the easy solution would be to just throw the hot dog in the bottom of the cooking thing, but that's not what we do here. I like to cook it as intended, so we're going to need a bigger glizzy. So I got some Italian sausages. So I am going to very carefully see if I can get these sausages on the spear. There we go, just being real careful with it. Kind of tearing it up a little bit, but nothing like what it would have done to the hot dog. Put one right here. Oh yeah, that messed that sausage up. Let me get sausage number 2. All right, yeah, sausage number 2 is not gonna work. But at least we got one. Now, let me see something with the hot dog. Maybe I can make this work. There we go. we'll just lay the hot dog on top of the sausage. Now, of course, this stupid lid does not want to stay on. Have to line this up just perfectly rather than them making it so it just, I don't know, snaps on or something easy. They had to make this as pointlessly difficult as possible. All right, there we go. So let's plug it in. And then in a few minutes, we'll check our hot dog and our sausage. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's open it up and take a look. Now the hot dog looks like it could be about done. Yeah, that hot dog is definitely done. It's hot inside, it's nice and steamed. Now sausage is not pre-cooked, so I am going to temperature check that. And believe it or not, the sausage is actually done as well. So let me take that off and get it on a bun. I don't think the sausage is going to be very good. Oh, that's great. You try to grip it and the base comes off the handle. All right, there we go. All right. Let me unplug this thing and move it out of the way. Yeah, this thing makes a lot of smoke and makes a lot of mess. All right, let me try the hot dog. I mean, not bad. It's a steamed hot dog. Now, the sausage might not be as good. Italian sausage is much better grilled, but was the only thing I had on hand that resembled a hot dog that I could have used with the machine as it's intended to be used. Honestly, better than I thought it would be. Well, I'm going to get my area here cleaned up, and then I'll be back to give you my final verdict on the Potato Perfect by Mr. Coffee. So what's my final verdict on the Potato Perfect by Mr. Coffee? Well, it does successfully make potatoes, and that's really all that I can say it has going for it. Now, the big question that I had when I found this, what is Mr. Coffee doing making potato products in the first place? Well, I did a little bit of Wikipedia tier research, and basically in the early 1990s, they decided to branch out their product line just a little bit. But the other products were pretty run-of-the-mill kitchen products. There was a juicer, a tea maker, a food dehydrator, a bread machine. Like, what does this have to do with any of those? This is all speculation, but my theory is that this was a patent that they bought that was probably destined for the infomercial circuit. I mean, even the name sounds like something that you would turn on a random channel at 3 in the morning and see Kathy Mitchell hawking. But beyond that, it's not a very good product. Just because it actually does what it says it's going to do doesn't mean that it's good. Its two main flaws. Number one is this lid. It comes off easily, and then it's a pain to get back on. Number two is these potato spears, which are just not very well made, and they're way too thick. If they made them somewhat thinner and a little sharper, it would have been easier to push them through the potatoes, but they're too wide and they're not sharp enough. It's just not a very good product, and it's a single-use product. And the use that's for is something there's already a million other ways to do. So yeah, this one is definitely not a keeper. Would not recommend. There's just better ways to cook potatoes, I'm sorry. Well, thanks for joining us on this edition of the Thrift Store Kitchen Review. Be sure to subscribe. Follow us on Facebook and TikTok, both linked in the description below. Be sure to tell your friends about us. Leave us a line down there in the comments section. Get out there and support your local thrift stores. And have a wonderful day.